All right, so we're going to do the pre-flight check. Every time we fly, we have to do the same thing. We've already removed, there's a cover on this pitot over here. We've already taken that off and put it inside. On the front of the airplane, you've got two covers that prevent animals from going inside while the airplane's parked. We've already removed that. So the first thing I always do is I come and I take a check of the oil. Starting making sure that the oil cap is on and it's nice and tight. And we come down to the side here, wipe it off. Okay, we make sure we got at least 8 quarts of oil in the engine. Just gonna add 1 quart of oil here. This airplane can take up to 11 quarts and it currently has 7.5 in it, so I'm just gonna add 1 more, which should bring us up to 8.5. So what we're doing now is we're gonna check the fuel. Now what's really important is that there's no water in the fuel. Now if you take a look over here, you'll see there's a little bit of water in the bottom of the fuel. And that's the whole point in doing the drain, because that's the lowest point in the wing. And if there's any water in there, it's gonna show up here. So what we do now is we keep draining this until all the water is gone. All right, so I'm not seeing any more water coming out, so we're good to go. Good. All right, underneath the airplane, you have another drain, which is the lowest point in the fuel system. Now, right now, I put it on and there's almost nothing coming out because I've got the fuel off. I always check the system with the fuel line off first. All right, we're gonna do the walk around inspection. I'm just gonna jump inside here and turn the airplane on. I'll be right back. While I was inside, I looked at the fuel gauges just to see that they were going up, and they did. I have an electric stall horn here. We just make sure this works. We're good. Now what we do is we walk around the airplane and we check every little piece. We start at the front, make sure the propeller's not broken, doesn't have any chips in it. We look that there's no animals inside of the engine compartment. We check that the front suspension is working. This little shock down here needs to go up and down. So it's working good. The tire doesn't look flat. Make sure nothing's loose, everything's solid. Leading edge of the wing. These are the ailerons. They're what roll the aircraft left and right when we need to turn. So what we do is we push it up. And there's a number of piano hinges in here. There's 3 of them. We check that the hinges are looking good and that the retaining clips are in place. Check that the control is good. Now we lower the flaps down so that we can make sure that the connections are good. Okay, it's solid. Sound good. All right, now I'm going to check the wheel. The tread looks good. I don't see any bald spots. Pressure looks good. Check the brake pads. Make sure there's no leaking on the brake line. We're going to leave the door open for now, but we check that it's locked before we take off. Make sure there's no loose panels, no dents or damage on the horizontal stabilizer. This is the elevator. This is what puts the nose up and down. We make sure that it's good. The light is intact. Elevator connection, and this is the elevator trim. The retaining clip is in the nut. Everything's good there. No damage. Again, I just tap the panels. Now we're checking the flaps on this side. Connection is good. Now we're into the right aileron. Piano hinge 1, piano hinge 2, the connection, piano hinge 3. Everything feels tight on the end. No damage on the leading edge of the wing. Check the tire, brake pads, brake line. Everything's good. Secondary static port is clear. And the primary static port is clear. That's this right here. This is the second. We have 2 static ports, so that way if one's clogged, we have a lever inside we can switch between them. And then I just take a step back from the airplane and I just take an overall look at it, see if anything looks like it's out of place. Everything looks good and we're ready to go.